Uh, we're going to really dig into some powerful words, stuff that came up in the materials you shared with us.
Hmm.
Our mission really is to, unlock how these words work. Not just the dictionary meaning, but how to actually use them, make them practical, powerful, maybe even fun.
Exactly, because knowing what a word means on paper, that's one thing, but really mastering it, using it correctly in context, that's where a lot of people, stumble, even with words they think they know.
Right. And if you don't apply it pretty quickly, it just
Yeah.
vanishes, doesn't it? So we want to make this really stick,
Yeah.
make it useful right away.
Uh-huh. And the way we'll do that, our method today, it involves getting you involved, actively participating. We'll use repetition examples, really try to lock these words in so they feel natural to you.
Yeah, and don't be shy about saying the words out loud as we go.
Yeah.
It really does help activate your memory, build that confidence.
It does.
So the goal here is that by the end of this deep dive, you'll have these powerful new words ready to go. You feel comfortable using them.
Let's get started.
Okay, first up, we noticed the word meticulous popped up quite a bit in those architectural plans and project specs you sent over.
Meticulous.
Seems pretty key in that field.
Definitely. Meticulous means being, well, extremely careful, paying super close attention to every single little detail. It's about ensuring everything's done perfectly, spot on, especially trying to avoid any mistakes.
Right, so in those blueprints, it's not just about being neat, is it?
Not at all. It implies this really exhaustive process, checking and rechecking. It's tied directly to like structural safety and getting the look just right.
Okay, so here's where it got interesting for me.
Yeah.
You sent that case study, the one about the historic building restoration.
I remember that one.
The lead architect, Sarah, was described as meticulous.
Yeah.
And the report really broke down how it wasn't just neat drawings. It was like she meticulously researched the original paint colors, meticulously cataloged every single damaged brick, meticulously checked the mortar mix consistency.
Wow. Yeah. That's detailed.
Totally. Constant cross-checking, this painstaking focus on historical accuracy. So every little thing matched the original.
And that level of detail matters hugely in restoration.
Exactly. The report basically said her meticulous approach was why they avoided massive, expensive problems later and why they won those preservation awards.
So you see, meticulous here isn't just careful. It's this whole comprehensive deep dive approach that directly shapes the result. Like one sentence in the report put it, she is very meticulous about her work, paying attention to every tiny detail to make sure everything is perfect. And it added, ensuring historical accuracy.
Yeah. And there was another example, I think, from a supplier contract, something like the manufacturer's quality control process is meticulous. Every component undergoes multiple inspections before assembly.
Right. So it emphasizes that systemic, thorough checking, not just a quick look.
Okay, so thinking about your own world, the reports and plans you look at, can you picture something or someone that you describe as meticulous? Maybe a process or a colleague. Give it a shot. Try crafting your own sentence using meticulous. All right, let's move on. The next word that stood out this time from that cybersecurity threat assessment brief you shared was vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Okay. So generally it means being open to getting hurt.
Yeah.
Physically or emotionally, like sharing a secret fear might make you feel vulnerable. But in that cyber report, the meaning shifts a bit. It's not about feelings. It's about system weaknesses. When a report says a system is vulnerable, it's pointing to like a specific crack or opening that could be exploited, leading to data theft or system failure.
It's like a specific weak spot they've identified.
Precisely. It's not just a vague, oh, there's some risk. It implies a known point of exposure.
Gotcha. And you included that, right. So her team put out a new patch, but she kind of suspected there might be a flaw in how they did it. Initially, she was hesitant to, speak up.
Understandable.
But the report specifically said she became vulnerable when she openly shared her concerns with the team. Basically, she let them pick apart her initial thinking.
And that took guts, I imagine.
Totally. But her being willing to be vulnerable about her process, that actually made the system stronger.
How so?
Because the team, together, found this hidden flaw before any attacker could. Her vulnerability, her openness, actually prevented a potential disaster. It reduced the real risk.
That's a fantastic example. It shows how vulnerability can be, well, both a risk and a strength, depending on how you handle it.
All right.
So connecting that back, the report itself probably had lines like, the server remained vulnerable to the new zero-day exploit until the updated patch was deployed, highlighting that direct weakness.
Exactly. And another bit from the brief said something like, sharing your current system architecture with an external audit team can make you feel vulnerable. But it's also a necessary step for comprehensive security assessment. So it implies exposing yourself, but for a good reason for improvement.
Makes sense. Necessary exposure.
Okay, so think about the kinds of reports or strategic discussions you're involved in. Where does this idea of vulnerability, this potential exposure or weakness, really play a critical role? Try to think of an example. You're doing great, by the way, really connecting these. Okay, next word. Unabashedly. This one came up in that biographical piece you sent about the disruptive entrepreneur. It's a bit longer, this word, but don't let that throw you.
Unabashedly. Yeah, it's a good one. What's interesting here is it means doing something completely without worrying about criticism, without feeling any shame or embarrassment or caring what others might think negatively.
So like totally bold and open about it.
Exactly. In that entrepreneur story, it describes this really bold, unreserved way of acting, often going against the grain, defying what everyone else says. It signals this deep self-confidence.
Okay, so the story was about Leo, right, the tech startup founder. He was known for his, let's say, unusual ideas.
The unconventional type.
Yeah, and the essay emphasized how he unabashedly went after these non-traditional business models, even when all the industry veterans were laughing at him.
Right. He didn't care.
Not at all. He unabashedly pitched his vision to investors who were clearly skeptical, got rejected loads of times, but kept going. He unabashedly pushed for like a completely flat company structure when everyone else was hierarchical.
That takes some nerve.
Totally. And the writer argued that this unwavering, very public commitment to his unique way, without any sign of embarrassment or doubt, that was actually key. It inspired his first employees, attracted investors who liked that boldness.
So in that context, unabashedly isn't just confident. It's more like deliberately ignoring what others think to follow your own path, like the essay might say. She spoke unabashedly about her disruptive ideas for the industry, not caring what traditionalists thought. It really highlights that pride and confident defiance.
Yeah. Or remember that bit from the marketing analysis you included? It said, the company unabashedly embraced a quirky, experimental marketing campaign.
The risky one.
Even though it risked alienating a segment of their traditional customer base. So again, that fearless, unreserved choice, despite potential backlash.
No holding back.
Exactly. So think about the people or strategies you analyze or read about. Can you think of an instance where someone or a company acted unabashedly, really went for it, defying expectations or criticism? Give it a try. Create your own sentence. Fantastic work. Okay, final word for this deep dive. Acknowledge. This one seemed really important in those internal communication guidelines you shared, especially around like conflict resolution and giving feedback. Do you use this word much yourself?
Acknowledge. Yes, it's crucial. It essentially means to accept or admit or recognize something as true or real or valid. In those corporate guidelines, it's often about formal recognition. So acknowledging a teammate's hard work, acknowledging you made a mistake, or acknowledging specific feedback someone gave you. It's got weight because it signals, official acceptance or validation.
Okay, let me tell you about this scenario from one of the HR docs. It was about feedback. So this team member, Leela, she'd worked incredibly hard on this really complex project involving different departments.
Sounds tough.
Yeah. But when the project leader presented the results, they completely failed to acknowledge Leela's huge contribution during the big meeting. Just didn't mention her input.
Ouch. That wouldn't feel good.
Not at all. Leela felt really deflated. Like her effort didn't count because it wasn't formally recognized.
Yeah, recognition matters.
But then, a week later, the project leader sent out a revised internal memo. And this time, it specifically acknowledged Leela's critical role, her problem-solving skills, basically corrected the oversight.
Good.
And the document noted that this act of acknowledging her work publicly totally boosted team morale. It validated her effort and showed that recognition was valued.
That really highlights the difference, doesn't it, between just noticing something and formally acknowledging it? Like the guidelines probably said something direct. He failed to acknowledge her contribution to the team project, meaning he didn't give that formal recognition, which led to a dip in morale. It's about making it official, public.
Exactly. And another example from those same guidelines was, she acknowledged that the project timeline was overly ambitious
Taking responsibility.
and promised to adjust it accordingly.
Uh-huh.
So here it's about admitting a truth honestly, owning it.
Right. Okay, so thinking about the communications you handle, maybe emails, reports, meetings, where is the act of acknowledging something really crucial for building trust or clearing things up or resolving an issue? Try making your own sentence. Speak it out loud if you can.
Wow. Okay. That was quite a deep dive today. We've really unpacked how words like meticulous, vulnerable, unabashedly, and acknowledge aren't just, items in a vocabulary list. They're active tools that shape meaning
Yeah.
and have real impact within the specific documents and conversations you encounter every day.
Absolutely. And if we kind of zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture, these words, understood in their proper context, they're like keys, aren't they? Keys to unlocking new levels of expression, more confidence in how you interpret things, and just a deeper connection to the material you work with, which I think raises a really important question for you. How will you use this sharper understanding, these new sort of superpowers, to better analyze the stories and reports that really matter in your world?
That's a great question. Keep thinking contextually. Keep applying these ideas to the sources you read and listen to. You'll really start to notice the difference in nuance and clarity. Thanks so much for joining us on the Deep Dive.